Greetings and welcome to episode 262 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly video game news and discussion podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by the 3-star champ, Daffy Mooney.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. How are you all doing? It's Friday. You know what that means.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, I thought it was the beginning of the week. It's the end of the week.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I'll
I'm
not reviewing games. And we are also joined by, I believe he's wearing a Black Panther t-shirt, Red Bearded Fox. How you doing?
Hiya. I'm all right.
We have one of those 21st century internet relationships where it's like, I don't really know you. I know your name, but I would never use it.
That's fair. I appreciate it.
How's everybody doing?
Hanging in there. Doing all right.
Not bad.
It's an eternal mood for 2021, right? I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
I'm not good. Not good at all.
That's good. I'm glad.
Been grinding a bit more on Apex, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see on Steam.
Yeah.
You keep popping
Can't really think of anything else. I've really kind of tried the little bit of Dark Alliance, but I said I was going to give that a little bit of time so that way they can actually make some updates so we can help a little bit of their connection. Because it's something I don't know if it's specifically Xbox PC Game Pass or the connection between.
No, it's not. I play it on Xbox.
Whatever it may be.
Whatever you're about to say is not the case.
It's just one of those things that for the first 20 minutes it runs smoothly, but then the connection and the lag issue of just basically the animation and the movesets of it's basically one of those things where it's just oh, hey, I'm hitting this enemy that I've been hitting for a good 5 seconds now, and he hasn't turned around and hit me yet, and I'm wondering if there's going to be a moveset where he does, oh, wait, I just got hit by an invisible moveset that I didn't notice because the lag was too bad, and the game is trying to compensate.
Oh, okay, maybe that's you then, because that never happened to me.
Yeah, I just, I don't know, it, for some reason, that game does not
you know what,
the connection between me and the other people.
This is just PC gaming in a nutshell. Coming to Xbox, I had a much better time on Xbox. I wouldn't say I had a good time, but I had a better time. Find out more on Monday.
No, I don't know. And then fucking last night, actually, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, Xbox, as much as I tout them for actually having a lot of games, they've been having a lot of issues lately, and it's been actually kind of irritating the piss out of me. Last night, I tried to play Halo with some friends, and I couldn't because there was a version mismatch. What it kept telling me, you don't have some of these things installed. Oh yeah, why don't I see them? Why do I see it on my hard drive? And it's sitting right there. I can see it actually installed. Great. Mm-hmm.
PC
I appreciate what you're doing. Well, yeah,
you would do it. To answer your question, Moody, yeah, I'm okay. Pride's over now. So
Pride's never over.
Pride month is over, and you guys keep freezing. This isn't good. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for it to come back. There we go. This isn't good. Everything keeps freezing.
I don't know who it is either. So
what's it saying? Oh yeah, Pride month's over. Didn't get to kiss any cute girls. Bit homophobic, if you ask me. What are you gonna do? I miss June.
Already?
Yeah.
it was only yesterday.
No.
That's what we're
Yeah, so this is the news and culture and whatnot discussion podcast where we talk about games and stuff about games and stuff around games and all that kind of stuff. What are we talking about this week? We're talking about Sony's approach to indie developers, the state of Cyberpunk 2077, according to CD Projekt Red, another broken game that's still on sale, and more. There are timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube and also wherever you get your podcasts. It's an audio thing. We're available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of other places that I've never heard of. And just get rid of that watch. Should we dig in? I don't know what it is, right? Like, no messages, like all evening, like, fine, everything's fine. And then one group chat that I'm in will just go absolutely berserk. It's like they wait until they know I'm recording a podcast. And then everyone's like, let's do
Message them and say, shut up.
I've literally done that before. Shut
No.
up.
I'm recording.
I'm
something.
busy. Do you remember when we had like 5 podcasts in a row? I think it was really when last year when like lockdowns and furloughs were happening, and when fucking every time we'd started recording, we were about 10 minutes in, and Keith would just start asking questions like, "Oh, do you want to play Apex? Do you want to just be like, no, I'm fucking busy, man. Jesus Christ."
I love you, mate, but go away.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Quite short in a row for us. Indies criticize Sony over discount policies, poor communication, and more. This is from Brendan Sinclair over at gamesindustry.biz. He writes, "This morning, Neon Doctrine co-founder Ian Garner posted a Twitter thread about Platform X, which he did not name but identified as, quote, the operator of a very successful console and does not have Game Pass, end quote." Hold on.
That's possibly 2 companies, both Asian, both in Japan.
I wonder who you could be talking about.
I think there's only one decision here, to be honest with you.
We don't know. He didn't specifically know.
This glass cost me like £8, and I feel like I've gotten like triple my money's worth out of it.
As much as so many people love beating around the bush, I'm going to burn it down and just say, hey, I think it's pretty obvious.
I started, I'll have to tell you a story later on in the podcast. Remind me to tell you the story about the celebrations. In the thread, Garner criticised not just the lack of promotion it gave indie developers and publishers for their titles, but the choices it made that minimised their ability to move the needle on their own. Quote, "Wish lists have no effect, so all your personal marketing means nothing to Platform X. All that matters is their evaluation. How is this evaluation done? Dunno, they don't share that, nor will they share the value they ascribe to my game," end quote. Garner also criticised the lack of clarity on how a company is supposed to get an account manager, a prerequisite for submitting trailers and blog posts for promotion on the platform, an inability to control launch discounts, an invite-only policy to participate in sales, and a $25,000 minimum spend to have a game featured on the storefront. Quote, "In conclusion, Platform X is super successful and awesome hardware, but their back-end and process is straight out of the early 2000s. I have no idea how to succeed on this platform, and they won't tell me. Even if I do succeed, they may screw me anyway," end quote. If there was any doubt that Sony was the platform in question, it was squashed by the numerous responses from independent developers and publishers echoing Garner's frustrations. Whitethorn Games CEO Matthew White posted, quote, "Totally hypothetical, definitely not real revenue breakdown pie chart," in a tweet thread,
I like that.
noting that less than 3% of sales as a company are on Platform X, which was labelled in the chart as Nolan North, the voice actor behind Uncharted protagonist Nathan Drake. White went on to say email communications with the platform are returned in months rather than days or weeks. The process of obtaining sales reports is unnecessarily time-consuming and outdated, and it has no marketing, analytics, or advertising assessment tools for developers. Quote, "Platform X is our worst performing platform, worse than other well-known plumber or super soldier video game systems, and also worse than the DRM free sales platforms like itch, etc. Last month we made more on Google AdMob," end quote. Ragnar Tornquist of Thread Games retweeted Garner's original post, saying, quote, "This thread mirrors our experiences exactly. Dragon has been out for over a year on consoles. When was the last time it was discounted or featured in a sale? And it's definitely not for lack of trying, it's disheartening." We're a pretty established developer with a proven track record, but I honestly have no idea who to even contact to make console sales happen. It's like trying to be heard in the vacuum of space, end quote. Hypnospace Outlaw developer Jay Tholen went ahead and named names, saying, quote, yeah, PlayStation sucks for indie devs. We've sold like trash on there compared to other big consoles. Also, we make more sales on Itch-a-Lot than we do on PlayStation, I'm pretty sure, end quote. Tholen ended his tweet by saying, quote, Mike, I'll delete this if you want, lol, end quote, presumably directed at Mike Rose, founder of Hypnospace Outlaw publisher No More Robots. Rose had already weighed in on Garner's thread more obliquely a little earlier, saying, quote, there's a thread going around today that lots of people are sharing. The reason you don't see more threads like it is because devs are too worried to say it publicly. But trust me when I say that the vast majority of devs are reading that thread and nodding their heads violently, end quote.
I'm not gonna nod my head violently, but yeah, I'm gonna nod my head.
Hold on. I'd do it for you. I'd do it for everybody. I'd be like that one guy where everybody else was just like, oh, the plumber console. And then that one guy was just like, fucking PlayStation. PlayStation. Someone's naming names. Lol, I'll delete this if you want, by the way. What's that smell? It smells like a bridge burning. Come on. Thoughts?
I hope that there's a river underneath.
As well, shout out to Mike Rose. I know the man a little bit from No More Robots. He's creating him and his team help publishing the game.
And it's almost like they got bought out by a certain someone that we're.
Oh, it's almost like they got bought out by somebody, and now it doesn't work as well.
Hey, it's almost like we're talking about you and you're listening or something like that, and maybe having.
Sorry, matey. Would you try again from Mike Rose as a cool guy, which he is.
Yeah, Mike Rose is a cool guy. He's building. He's helped his company, No More Robots, has helped publishing the game. Let's Build a Zoo, which I talked about a few weeks ago, which I really enjoyed from the beta. I'm looking forward to playing the game. When they finally give me a release date, Mike Rose, like, I'm waiting, dude. Like, I'm seriously waiting. That demo was awesome.
Still not out. I remember watching that, actually. I remember watching the little clips and everything. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that's not out yet. Yeah.
Well, he's teasing me too much. But I'm okay with that. He already knows that he's got my money, so it's all right. But no, yeah, back to this. We all knew this was PlayStation before anyone announced this was PlayStation or anything like that. PlayStation are renowned for their dickery, basically, to the indie devs. They try and milk out to get so they can get money as well out of them, not to support them or anything like that. They think by getting them on their platforms, that's them basically saying they're doing the bare minimum to say, we will support you by putting your game on our platform. Please give us $25,000 though, and then we will put it on the platform where no one will see it, and we'll never put it on sale. So it'll never sell, but it's on our platform, so we are doing our due diligence by supporting you.
And then
so we are pro.
Yeah, and then we could go to E3 and be like, we're the home of indie games. Look at all these cool indie games. And it's just okay.
Whenever there is this PlayStation thing not gonna ever happen, whenever they decide to ever have it, they'll have an indie thing, and it's gonna feel so sour. The games are going to look great. We all know the games are going to look brilliantly. But it's going to be so sour because they're going to be like, listen, we know you dicks towards the indie devs. You are such dicks towards these buggers. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, you're giving them publicity, but really? Well, I'm going to play it on something else. I'm just going to say that. I'll say this right now. I'm going to play that game on someone else's console, even though I don't have a PlayStation 5 or anything like that.
I'm going to throw something out there right now that I'm going to say it with no regrets. I wish I bought an Xbox. At this point, we're at July 2021. I wish I bought an Xbox. I bought a PlayStation 5 instead of an Xbox Series, whatever. I regret that decision for many reasons.
Easier to get than the PlayStation 5 right now. So
still paying for my PlayStation 5, but yeah, it's just like, oh man, like not another fucking story about PlayStation being shit in another fucking way. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Should we just
Amy,
start an Xbox podcast? Like, fuck it.
after you finish this, I'm gonna then have to ask you $25,000 for you to be featured on this rant
Oh,
of
sorry.
yours. I just
Fuck.
want you to know.
Oh,
So,
no.
you down to give us more money? You okay with that?
I mean, I think I've got a $5 somewhere. Like,
I don't get it, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, I realize they're indie devs, but like, it's obvious that there's quite a few companies and there's quite a few big name people out there who really want to try to support as much as possible.
like the Super Soldier console.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, the fact that that isn't just a standard, you know, like actually like helping the little devs, like to me, that's not only a new possibility and open port for an avenue of the possibility of having them become a first party, you know, or like an actual like, you know, established own IP only on your console, but it creates new it creates new ecosystems, you know, like within like, you know, trusting you for like to be able to put, you know, your game on somewhere that, you know, not only will be featured probably somewhat for free and or like, you know, be talked about and or like have some kind of marketing, you know, behind it, even if you don't have any yourselves. It would create such a better working space and probably a better space for indie devs to be like, hey, we have options. Most of the time now it's just more like, do we even really want to consider that option? I mean, yeah, we will, because guess what? We need it. But
do they need
the fact
it?
that sorry, go ahead.
Do they need it? Like, it sounds like indie games, unless you give Sony like, and 25 grand is piss all for a AAA publisher, but for an indie dev or an indie publisher, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
I
And
mean,
unless you
if
give
they
PlayStation that money, it sounds like you're gonna sell like absolute shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, if like, don't get me wrong, if they didn't dick them around about it as much as they did, it would be good for them. But you know, or like they would probably look at it and be like, yeah, we need it, yeah, sure. But I mean, yeah, you're right. It stands to point that like right now it's like, maybe we don't need it. I mean, you got a good point.
Like, looking at the figures that they were putting out on the graphs, or the figures that the devs or publishers were talking about. With like the Whitethorn Games CEO was talking about, less than 3% of sales are on Platform X. Like, that's not very many sales, like, of your game, right? Like, a PlayStation just gonna piss off enough devs to just walk away entirely from PlayStation?
I don't know what their thinking is as of late, to be honest with you.
Don't think
Really
they care.
don't.
I honestly don't think they care. I think they know the people are still going to want to be on their platform.
Oh,
even
no.
if the game can't be seen on the platform.
PlayStation don't need to care. Have you ever been on a PS Plus announcement blog on the PlayStation blog? Or like on the YouTube channel, crawl through the comments. Like, so whenever there's like indie games on PS Plus, or whenever there's like an indie game trailer on their YouTube channel, like the comments are fucking cancerous.
I believe
like
it.
PlayStation fanboys, and I'm just talking about fanboys here, not actual like people who like gaming on PlayStation, or like it's just full of comments about how terrible indie games are, and well, you know, indie games are the worst. And it's just like, oh, okay. Like, so I think PlayStation are just like, hey, are true fans. And I use that with like all the salt in the world. See, I came prepared. It's all the salt. But it's just like,
I guarantee not all of it would fit in there.
that was a total coincidence. I just needed to fill a salt cellar, and I haven't taken the salt down yet. But yeah, it's just like, there's an attitude towards indie games that, like, okay, I'm just going to say it, dickhead PlayStation fanboys have shown repeatedly for a long time, and I wonder if that's just seeped through to PlayStation. Like, PlayStation don't give a shit, because why would they? They don't need to. But I mean,
granted,
5-10 years from now, they might need to. Like, if a bunch of indie devs just go, nah, you're right, fuck off. We'll just go to the Plumber console or the Super Soldier console, and
like it's interesting because I mean, granted, like we're not considering the ecosystem of like it on PC, because to be honest with you, they've had their own live and breathing ecosystem, and they do just fine. Just trying to get on the platforms that it's on that Steam, Epic, what EA, whatever the fuck. But on just the console behalf, it really is like, I feel like it's not even a coin toss. It's just like, hey, we need to talk to these specific people, i.e. Microsoft and or Xbox and or like Amazon, or well, or we'll see. But
Luna,
the
baby.
the fact that it's not like, hey, coin toss and see who's gonna catch it, to see who's gonna actually get most of our attention. It's like, no, we know who we're going with. It's like, okay.
Because
Damn.
like the argument would be, I mean, I could see the counter argument being, well, PlayStation 4 was the number one selling console, so it would make sense to get our games on that platform. But if like you get, again, 3% of your sales are coming from that platform, does it matter if you get on that platform or not?
Yeah, it's something, and I don't expect like PlayStation to take their head out of their ass anytime soon, just because they've got God of War.
Oh, they've got this third-person action game, and that third-person action game, that other third-person action game, that other action game that's third-person.
Hey, we're getting another Spider-Man,
and this third-person.
Which
Sure.
we're all gonna play, apart from Fox, because he doesn't have a PlayStation.
You're not gonna play it. You don't have a PlayStation 5.
I don't give a shit anymore at this point.
I will get one eventually.
How will you though? Because I don't think they exist anymore.
You got one right above you, so clearly does.
I don't even know if this is real.
It was really funny talking about that. My mother asked me, singing, I still can't believe that there's no PlayStations out there yet. I was thinking, I know. And we were asking, my mum was saying, so glad Jack, my nephew, was like, he's been so good about it. I was thinking, yeah, he's gonna be his Christmas present this year if they can get one.
This year?
Christmas present last year.
This year? That seems a bit optimistic. This whole like thing that's exploded as well does explain something that I've been searching for answers for years, where it's like, oh, now I understand how games like Life of Black Tiger got on the PlayStation blog and the PlayStation YouTube channel. They just gave them money. I remember thinking, "Oh wow, this is featured. This is a featured PlayStation game. Interesting. Guess they just gave them 25 G's. Great. Invite-only sales is a fun one. Like, you don't get invited, you can't put your game on sale. That explains a lot too. Boo. Boo, I say. I scroll down too far.
So I'm still just confirm. I'm still gonna get a PlayStation 5. So I may bitch about this and be annoyed by this. I'm still getting one, and I know I am. So it doesn't make a difference to me. It's disappointing, and I hope PlayStation do get their fingers out their ass and actually sort this shit.
Buy Series X. I'll swap you. Let's move on. After 6 months, Cyberpunk 2077 stability is apparently at a satisfactory level. Wow. I couldn't even say that in an even tone. This is from Molly Taylor over at PC Gamer. He writes 6 months after it launched. Hold on, I'll really try this time. After 6 months, Cyberpunk 2077... Nope, didn't work.
Yeah, I can see that.
6 months after it launched, CD Projekt Red CEO Adam Kaczynski reckons Cyberpunk 2077 is at a, quote, satisfactory level, end quote, of stability. Kaczynski made the comments at WSE Innovation Day, where he discussed the game's numerous patches and future plans for making improvements. Quote, we have already reached a satisfactory level of stability. We have also been working on the overall efficiency, which we are also quite happy about. Of course, we also removed bugs and glitches, and we will continue to do that, end quote. The CEO also said that CDPR would be, quote, introducing improvements to the general systems that players are paying attention to, end quote, presumably looking at larger overhauls to the game in the future. Kaczynski had been... Kaczynski has been firm and reassuring in CDPR's ongoing efforts to bring Cyberpunk up to scratch. At the company's first quarter financial results of the year, Kaczynski said, quote, "We intend to live up to what we promised on gamers in January. While we already see major improvements, a large part of the team continues to work on making sure that Cyberpunk provides even better entertainment to gamers," end quote. I don't think you're going to be able to, editorializing for a second before I read the last paragraph, I don't think you're going to be able to give me any more entertainment than I've already gotten out of Cyberpunk 2077. Back to the article. While Cyberpunk 2077 is still a little half-baked, it's not the hot mess it was when it first released. The last few patches have been bountiful with bug fixes, though a lot of them seem to be fixing incredibly minor issues. The work CDPR has put in has finally satisfied Sony, though, who popped the game back up on its PlayStation Store last week, albeit with the caveat that it's still not good enough for PlayStation 4. Hey, do you remember when you linked this in our Discord?
Yeah.
Do you remember my reply?
Yeah.
How do I verbalize that reply? Because it was just 3 pictures and some emojis going like this.
Basically, yeah. It was, I have to get back up on my end, so I know. Where was it? Bloody hell. How many did I put in?
You put a lot of news stories in it there as well. Like,
Ah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Found it. Yeah, you put out user continues to be a bad experience on PlayStation 4. Then Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, a lot of media emojis have just gone.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, the stability is what is it?
Yeah.
It's a acceptable, satisfactory level. Like, there's still warnings on both the PlayStation and Xbox Store versions of this game, which is, this game is fucked, mate. I wouldn't recommend you buy it, but you can if you want.
Yep.
That's apparently, that's the satisfactory level. That's the satisfactory level.
God. CD Projekt Red, man. Seriously, CD Projekt Red. Are you this generation's BioWare, I wonder, or something? Because damn, you've started it bad. You've started this generation really bad.
I knocked my microphone over. Oh no. I can't hear you, Moody. Hello? I can't hear anything. Oh, this isn't good. Now. I didn't hear any of that, by the way.
Fix that shit. Oh, she's back.
The podcast did not hear any of that.
I'm kind of like, I'm not surprised that they would probably still like release it again, and it would probably still not work really well on PlayStation just because of like, yeah, it's still got too many issues. I'm surprised they came out to actually say it's a satisfactory level, like, and they mean it for across the board, because they can't not say that and just say, oh, we only mean like semi PC side. We don't mean like everywhere. It's like, well, then maybe this is something you might not want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of one of those things that's just like, there's still quite a few issues. Like, even as someone who like enjoyed it for the PC side, like it still had its own issues, still does, and like it is, you know, quite broken, you know, doing some things. The fact that they still said like, yeah, it's okay, it's still satisfactory for us. It's like, I'm gonna raise my hands and walk backwards slowly, because in all honesty, like, I touted you guys real hard for like the longest time.
What I take from that isn't that like, it isn't like their standards. I know where their standards are now for a satisfactory game, and those are not my standards. But also, CDPR have been bullshit artists for a long time, and it seems to be more bullshit from me personally. So like, What did Moody say? Because like I didn't hear it, and the podcast didn't hear it. But it looked really interesting from what I could
I
see.
said, CD Projekt Red, you can buy me now and everything like that. I was so pro on this
yeah,
thing.
you
I
were
was
so
saying
pro.
it was amazing. Like CD Projekt Red, a AAA awesome company and everything like that. That's what I was saying also.
AAA awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what you said. I'm sure that's exactly what you said.
There was a lot of sarcasm in my voice when I said when I was talking about
It's like,
that.
oh yeah, these guys. Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah. I hope they stop talking forever because I'm sick of talking about them.
They're not gonna.
No, I know. The thing is, like they fucking all the bullshit that they've pulled in the last few years, and then like, and it's like right now we're in this whole like, oh, Cyberpunk sucked. It was bad. Like, sorry, let me rephrase that. Cyberpunk was a badly made game. Because it was made under crunch conditions, and the development team themselves even told their management that they needed more time to make it. But, you know, you got to get it out in those fiscal years on top of all of the stuff, all of the other stuff, the transphobic stuff and the PR marketing and whatnot. So it's like, at the moment, I'm in this like nice place where it's just like, I don't have to put up with them too often, but like just this big cloud in the distance, which is their next game. Like, and me having to put up with the PR cycle again, and it's just like, oh no, everybody's going to be hyping them to like the next level.
People are gonna overhype them again. There's no doubt about it. But I think right now I think like this is a challenge for them. They're like, we must get this game in a great situation where we have turned it around and we're like, yeah, you know, like that. That's what I feel like they're trying to do. And will it succeed? Probably. Let's be frank, it's gonna succeed. The gamers will go, they've sorted it around. I knew you could. I always knew you could, and all like that. And we're gonna be like, oh, you schmucks. This is a company that literally threw their QA team under the fucking bus. Aye, I didn't forget that, you CEO son of a bitch.
They threw so many like things, people, places, things, communities under the bus to get this game out, and then the game was what it was, and it was just like, wow, holy crap. For that, at least WitcherCon, right? They're not announcing a new game, thank God. I don't know if I could have taken it. Anyway, should we talk about another broken game?
Can I bet you this before you move on? If Cyberpunk came out working well, they would be
announcing a Witcher game at WitcherCon. 100%.
Oh yeah, that would have been.
That's probably why there is a WitcherCon. And then they were like, decided, shit.
We'll just do we'll just release the teaser trailer or the new trailer for Witcher the Season 2. And I'll be like, oh, Henry Cavill, you luscious piece of meat. Oh, hi, babe. Sorry about that.
Sorry, drooling. Oh.
Something like that, yeah.
Might and Magic 10 Legacy is still broken, and still being sold anyway. This is from Kent over at Eurogamer. He writes, Might and Magic 10 Legacy, a role-playing game released back in 2014, was recently included in a list of all the games for which Ubisoft had decided to end online support. By doing so, however, Ubisoft also appeared to shut down DRM servers for Might and Magic 10 Legacy, leaving some players unable to access significant portions of the game's single-player content and its DLC. And despite these issues, the game and its DLC are still on sale. The server shutdown began on the 1st of June, after which players began to report problems accessing DLC areas from the game's The Falcon and the Unicorn expansion. Players who owned the DLC also found that they were unable to play past Act 1 of the main game with the expansion installed. Some who bought the deluxe version reported they could no longer access the specially named items included with that version. Players have been creating their own workarounds for the problems, with some editing NPC dialogue to do so, but so far there hasn't been an official fix. Ubisoft told Eurogamer it is, quote, aware and investigating the reported issues with our internal teams, end quote. In the meantime, Might and Magic 10 Legacy remains on sale despite all the game-breaking issues. This, of course, has invited a fair bit of review bombing on Steam. Only 23% of the reviews left over the last 30 days have been positive, with players warning others not to buy a game that is currently, quote, impossible to finish, end quote. And no, not in a FromSoft way. Yay. Broken game.
It's like a following meme today, isn't it? Is that the following story?
No,
Can we
but
just
not
talk
the
about
one after.
Cyberpunk? Oh, well, it's a different game.
Oh no, we're talking about a Ubisoft game today. Like, my Magic
I'm not going to lie, I've never heard of this game.
My
Let's
Magic
be frank
10
and honest
Legacy.
there. Never heard of this game, so I don't have much to say. Apart from that, if it's still broken,
I was
don't
gonna
buy
say,
it, ladies and gentlemen.
Here's a thought. Like, here's something as someone who's never played Fighting Magic 10 Legacy. Here's something I might want to say. Hey, AAA publishers, stop selling actually broken games. Like, we all had fun joking around when you used to release some buggy games every now and again, saying, "Oh, it'll only be a matter of time before they just start trying to sell us actually broken games." And yet here we are in the future, where they're actually trying to sell us broken games. So maybe, hey, don't sell us broken games, you pieces of shit.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Might get some, man. There's no doubt about it.
Fucking AAA publishers.
But I think it would be we'll be digressed if we didn't say the one thing that we said we would always say, Amy, when it comes to a Ubisoft story. Are you gonna get me to say that? Yeah, seriously.
I was taking a drink.
Okay,
I was like, Moody's talking. I can drink.
Yes, let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that Ubisoft are a terrible company who do not look after their colleagues, staff, or whatsoever, who have literally stopped people from complaining, from being sexually harassed, racist, abused in the whole shebang, transferred people who have done those things to other positions while sacking those people who have complained. So let's just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. I know no other big site would do it, or other big podcasters will do this, but we will. Ubisoft, you suck, and you need to be called out for this.
I'm gonna write a blurb. You've just given me the idea. I'm gonna write a blurb for us. So like every time we talk Ubisoft,
we have something to say.
We can just read the blurb.
Yeah, it'll be so much easier than what I've just flipped out.
Ubisoft is a bullshit company that covered up abuse for years, and no one seems to mention it because they want to keep playing their Assassin's Creeds and the Far Cries, even though those games are really generic and kind of boring. Speaking of games that are neither generic nor boring, Sony acquires Returnal developer Housemarque. This is from Danielle Partis over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Sony Interactive Entertainment has acquired Finnish studio Housemarque for an undisclosed sum. Housemarque is a long-time partner of SIE and has released 8 titles exclusive to PlayStation so far. Most recently, the pair released PlayStation 5 exclusive Returnal. Housemarque is the 13th studio to join PlayStation Studios. It's the company's first acquisition since it bought Spider-Man developer Insomniac Games back in 2019. The studio will continue to be run by Housemarque's current management team in conjunction with PlayStation Studios' external development team. Quote, with a proven track record of creating original games that feature best-in-class gameplay, Housemarque is a highly accomplished studio and we couldn't be more thrilled to officially welcome them to the PlayStation Studios family, said Herman Hulst, head of PlayStation Studios. With its gripping gameplay, haunting story, and unforgiving world, Returnal has captivated the PlayStation audience, and we're looking forward to working alongside the team to bring to life their ambitious creative vision on future projects. End quote.
Not surprised this has happened.
No.
They've done nothing but games for PlayStation, basically, for the last, 5 exclusives, is it?
Since Resogun, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty true. Yeah, it's like that's Resogun, and arguably still Resogun is arguably the best game. I have not played Returnal, so I cannot comment on that.
I have. Discord's being a bitch again.
To the team, Housemarque are an amazing team, and they deserve all the great success they've had. So I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's the past 5. Yeah, because Outland was also on Windows. That was back in 2011, though.
Yeah, we never count PC when we're talking about exclusives.
True.
We're hypocrites like that.
Should we also mention they've announced
they bought
the
PC porting guys. You'd like to
they've now added the 14th studio, who basically sounds like it's a studio that's gonna transfer all their exclusives to PC and everything like that. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
They will. That's what they do. They ported Avengers last year.
Oh,
they've done nothing but games to PC.
I'm not questioning whether they're going to do it. I'm going to say we'll see if their ports are actually going to be even any fucking good, because I don't trust ports anymore these days. I just don't. I have a hard time anymore.
Well, I know like Horizon was
didn't
buggy, didn't it? And Days Gone is even a bit buggy as well. So. Yeah, so maybe now they've got someone who's efficient at doing it. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how great these guys are, but it could work. Either way, the games are coming. We know they are.
Obviously, PlayStation have finally come, and as much as I rag on PC gaming, it's all just in fun. But like PlayStation have finally realized that if we sell our games on PC, there's a big audience of people on there who only game on PC who would definitely buy our games.
21 fucking years late. Now we're realizing.
It's like, maybe Microsoft are onto something. Maybe they're making lots of money off of this PC platform that everybody's been talking about. I'm shocked, truly.
I honestly I've been wanting a good actual good versions and or parts of PlayStation games for a while. Like I've been wanting to replay Last of Us, and to play it on PC would be amazing, and get to play 2 on PC would be pretty amazing. I don't know if I'd touch the Uncharted's again, to be honest with you, because I've already played through all of them on PlayStation. But
the studio is called Nix's, the PC port studio. I wanted to find their name, and obviously with Discord running and being recorded, I couldn't just check the Discord. But it's Nix's.
I hope they give it some love and tender care. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, it's a lucrative market they finally decided to step into.
The only thing is that we know what's going to happen, though. They're going to be putting them first on the console first, and they're going to be a year later when it comes to PC and everything. So we're still going to be waiting and everything. So, but
big style, they're not gonna dare and date their games on PC with PS 4, 5, 6, 7, 10.
Eventually.
Well, maybe that far down the line, who knows? But it's cool. You know me, Moody. I'm all about hey, if you put your games in more places so more people can play them, that's great. Because I can talk to more people about them, and we can all play it together, but separate.
Now, if only they'll actually start introducing crossplay between the two. Probably not, but we'll see.
Talk to me about crossplay.
So for example, if they had a PlayStation exclusive, that PlayStation players can play with PC players, like how Xbox players can play with PC players right now for most of their games.
I think it's because it'll be their game. Nobody will.
Do you think they'll charge themselves for that? They'll be like, hold on. Wait, if you want to put crossplay in this game, you're gonna have to pay us some money. Where Santa Monica Studios, you own us. Why would we give
your
you
first party?
money?
Huh?
No, crossplay means money. Give me money. Cough it up. And then you just got Cory Barlog by the ankles, just shaking him out. Oh, it's gonna be fun making fun of PlayStation vigorously for the rest of the year. For this, PlayStation may have accidentally revealed that it's acquired Bluepoint Games. This is from Chris Scullion over at VGC. He writes, PlayStation's Japanese Twitter account has seemingly leaked news that it's acquired Demon's Souls developer Bluepoint Games. The account posted a tweet, which has since been deleted, announcing PlayStation's acquisition of Returnal developer Housemarque, which was officially announced as planned. However, the image accompanying the tweet instead showed the Bluepoint Games logo along with the message, "Welcome to the family." The image shows artwork from other PlayStation Studio games, including Returnal, but also includes Demon's Souls art. This suggests that Sony is soon planning to announce acquisition of Bluepoint Games shortly after its Housemarque acquisition news as a sort of 1-2 punch. Given that Nix has happened, I guess it will be a 1-2-3 punch.
Basically, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, it's a oops. There's no doubt about it. But if this does actually happen, It's not a surprise again. Even though Bluepoint Art's like trying to pull away from this or something like that. They tweeted something or posted something. Where is it? I'll go to the full article because I posted it in our Discord. Bluepoint, they changed their Twitter bio to being saying we are fully independent type of thing. So basically, like saying no, we are not owned by PlayStation as of yet.
Yet.
And everything like that. Yeah, Bluepoint kind of like we're not. It's not going to be a surprise if it eventually gets announced.
It's going to be announced at some point.
Yeah.
Like, so I came at this news in the best, most Amy way possible, where I opened Twitter up one morning whenever this was all being announced, and do you know what I saw? I didn't see the Housemarque one. I saw the Bluepoint one, and I was like, "Oh, cool! PlayStation is Bluepoint." Like, I saw the image and the logo and stuff, and I was like, "Cool." And then I was just scrolling through Twitter, and everyone was talking about Returnal, and I was like, "Bluepoint didn't make Returnal. What's everybody talking about?"
Why is everyone going crazy today?
And then
Am I missing the point here, or has the world finally gone crazy?
Demon Souls is nothing like Returnal. What's happening?
Well, it's a very hard game, so.
Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. I have a love-hate relationship with Returnal. I feel like love-hate wasn't, like, it's not balanced 50-50. It's like...
Yeah. Then after Bluepoint, all is left is Square Enix for them, and then the Infinity Stones are complete.
Let's hold your horses on that one. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Bethesda was an Infinity Stone. I think imagine if PlayStation and Xbox just bought everybody. There was nobody left. Like,
oh, please don't.
That would be terrible. That would be a horrible world to live in, but it'd be pretty funny.
Please don't.
Just the divide up the games industry, like, like they're picking teams, like, you know, like, who are you going to go for? I'm going to go for Square Enix. All right, well, I'm going to pick Capcom.
Could I make the one dodgeball team where we throw wrenches at people, please?
Foxes is just in the corner, like, Valve's just in the corner throwing fucking spanners at them, like, fuck you. You bastards. It's fine. We're going to buy another indie developer and then cancel all the games and make them make hats for Team Fortress. Oh, wait, we already did that multiple times. Thanks, Valve.
Yeah. Fucking, oh my god. I love Gabe Newell's. Hey, we're here. We got a sale going on. Valve. Yep. Thanks, Gabe.
We're not going to send you an email saying, like, one email saying which games on your wish list are on sale. What we're going to do instead is we're going to send you multiple emails over the course of 3 weeks telling you about one game that's on sale on your wish list. Fuck you, Gabe. I turned your notifications off, motherfucker. I only put upcoming games in my wish list to support indie devs, so joke's on you, motherfucker. Anyway, let's talk about horror for a bit.
Pardon me.
Horror developer Bloober Team partners with Konami, the studio behind Silent Hill. This is from Austin Goslin over at Polygon, who writes, Bloober Team, the developer of Layers of Fear and Blair Witch, has entered into a new partnership with developer and publisher Konami, the two companies announced on Wednesday. In a statement about the partnership, Bloober Team explained that the two companies will share information and technology, and more importantly, they'll work on jointly developing certain projects. Polygon has reached out to both companies for further comment about these projects, but did not receive an immediate response. While the details of the partnership remain somewhat vague, Silent Hill fans have begun to speculate about whether the two companies will revive the series. Bloober Team's focus has always been centered on the horror genre, and Konami isn't doing much with Silent Hill at the moment, or any of its other franchises, but that seems to be beside the point. Apparently, Silent Hill fans had already envisioned a connection between Konami's legendary horror series and Bloober Team, as Silent Hill started trending on Twitter shortly after the partnership was announced. Bloober Team's last project was this year's The Medium, a horror game that allowed players to switch perspectives and dive into a spirit realm. Meanwhile, the Konami's Silent Hill series has been absent since the release of 2014's PT, which was intended to be a demo for a game called Silent Hills that got cancelled a year later. Finally.
Guess what, Konami? I still have it, bitch.
Yeah, me too, motherfuckers. Unless you're going to come to my house and delete it off my PlayStation 4, you can get rid of it, mate.
You just gonna have to throw away my fucking hard drive that I have uninstalled from it.
I will fight you.
I hope Bloober Teams took the criticism they got for the medium on board. They had an incredible idea. It was very unique when it came to that game, but it just didn't.
So I take it didn't do well. That's what I was gonna ask.
Well, Moody played it. He was the point man at Words About Games. He was the lead reviewer. He played it. So.
How'd it go?
It was all right. It's not great. It's like its concept is really, really good, but it had some technical visual issues where it just did not look great sometimes at all. And I was just like, it played like an old Resident Evil game, like the tank controls, which it really didn't suit whatsoever. Yes,
that's weird.
Oh hell yeah, it didn't feel right. It needed to go third person. It needed to be third person, and they didn't. So
all right, Sony, calm down, Jesus.
I'm not gonna go there. So okay. You completely ruined what I was going to say.
Somebody who's played other Bloober games. Sorry. If you've remembered, I'll stop. I was going to jump in and save you. So I played what have I played? Blair Witch. That was them. Layers of Fear.
I own Observer, and I've been wanting to play it, but I haven't gotten around to it. That was a game of theirs that like really, it was the only one that actually really caught my attention. Like Medium looked good, but it was one of those ones I was like, I'm gonna wait to see how this actually like plays out. But seeing Observer and then actually seeing it being played out, I was like, yeah, this looks like actually a pretty good psychological horror game. And I've been told by people who like Layers of Fear that Layers of Fear is good, although I've never played them either.
Yeah, well, Layers of Fear was okay. Blair Witch was okay. That's the thing about Bloober Team games is like I like them fine, like the ones that I've played, but like unless they're gonna do something drastically different, like I'm assuming at this point that this is real because we've been hearing about Bloober making a Silent Hill game for months. Like unless they're gonna do something drastically different with Silent Hill, like I don't think they're a good fit for Silent Hill, if that makes sense. Like the type of horror experience that you would normally get from Silent Hill. And hey, maybe that's a good thing. It's maybe like a really radically different Silent Hill would be great. But like, I don't know. I don't think it's a good fit, personally.
I can understand that. I'll just go to say the wise words from the former CEO of Disney. Like, as long as it's a good story and they got a good idea, it could work. And if they have a good idea here, I hope it does work. Like I know a lot of people who are Silent Hill fans, like yourself, Amy, and everything like that. And Foxes, I do hope this comes out and it is brilliant. One good game can literally turn any developer into a cracking developer where they got a lot of eyes on them. And if this could be the game, and I hope it does. But like I said, I do hope they've taken the feedback on Medium back because on board because that did great concept, but that's a lot of issues.
It's interesting because, like I said, I haven't played actually played any one of their games. I don't really have too much of a standing of what kind of mechanics they use, what kind of games that they kind of like mostly focus around it, and like which kind of medium to the point of like how they get their gamer to focus on them, of like what makes them different, like how they do scary different, whatever maybe.
Well, their horror is usually pretty good. Like like in terms of their atmosphere, it's usually pretty good. Like I remember being spooked out when I played Blair Witch, and I remember being spooked when I played Layers of Fear. They didn't have any like it was puzzle solving mechanics in Layers of Fear, which was fine.
That was going to be my other thing was that Silent Hill is also focused very much on
puzzle and combat
mechanics.
Yeah,
very much. And
they had
how are their mechanics?
They had some sort of stealth and chase sequences in Blair Witch, which weren't great. Like I can't
Yeah.
speak for what was in the medium though.
Yeah, that's fair.
The atmosphere in the medium was really, really good. Like they really got that part down, but it just hurt the story and the mechanics hurt itself so bad. Like the character you didn't give a flying hoot about, and the tank mechanics just was just like, why did you do this?
I hope that they look at their Silent Hill game to understand how they can play it and add mechanics to a point of like playing it to make it not only atmospheric horror, because what it sounds like they have that down, but they have to get a fun, playable, whether it be hidden mechanics or actual like just straightforward like understanding of like how you can use mechanics to and instill the horror into you, whatever it may be, whether it's a hiding thing or whatever it may
I'm
be,
sick
because
of
it
those
matters. True, I agree. Because it matters, because it's like, so for example, I'm going through Village, and I was telling my friend who's watching it that like, even though I'm not done with Village and I don't know how it's all going to play out, I really like where it is right now, because it gives me the feeling of being in the mansion in 1, being chased by the Nemesis in 2 because of Lady Dimitrescu. Sorry, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it is what it is. And also, it's puzzle solving, and then it's whole like trade mechanic from 4. Like in all honesty, it gave me a lot of those feels, but I actually got genuinely like thrilling. A thriller feel like when I would walk through a door and be like, oh, I can't walk through this door. The next thing I know, Lady Dimitrescu is coming through and be like, what's up, bitch? In my face. And I'm like, run away. That kind of whole feeling.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah, right.
Dear.
Exactly.
This isn't good. Oh, she's found me.
It's got to matter. Mechanics has to matter. They really do. Especially for a horror game. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of over like horror games where it's like, you have no power, you must hide or die, and it's like, but I'm bored of that. Like balance it like Alien Isolation, right? Where it was like, you're gonna get fucked if you go near this alien, but if it finds you, you can throw a Molotov at it and run. Like, that's cool. I like that, but it's just like the Outlast approach, right? Where it's just like stealth, crouch walk. Which, by the way, has anyone ever tried to crouch walk in real life?
It's not
It's
very
not possible.
Yeah. Or let me hide in this, like locker or whatever. And that's been just a staple for horror games for so long. And it's just like, you can't continue doing those tropes while wanting to stand out, especially for using a title like Silent Hill. Like, they just do different mechanics. They do different things. That is, horror, but at the same time, still Silent Hill.
The other thing about Bloober Team games as well is, and I want to throw no shade on them. Like I said, I've enjoyed the games that I've played that they've made, but their games are about as subtle as a brick to the face, which is not great for a Silent Hill game. Yeah, like, that's like the opposite of what you want.
Silent is very nuanced and very like underlying deep meaning, whereas a lot of theirs are just like, hey, I'm throwing you through this window. It's just like, oh, okay, yet again for the 7th window. Okay, gotcha.
Sorry.
Well, they changed that for the medium because the medium made no sense.
Okay. Even better.
It's an improvement, yay!
Wait, is it an improvement?
It's potato. Apples and oranges, basically. It's still fruit, so.
It's pretty good, actually.
Oh, okay. Game publisher apologizes for asking journalists to shoot people dressed as Arab stereotypes. This is from Matthew Gull over at Vice Waypoint. He writes, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 developer CI Games has apologized for hosting a press event at a military-themed training park in California. A journalist was disturbed during the event when organizers put a converted M4 rifle in his hands and asked him to fire airsoft-style bullets at park employees dressed in white robes and keffirs. I looked that up. Progress. I'm making progress as a podcast host, 262 episodes in. Quote, the launch event took place on an authentic military training base in San Diego and aimed to replicate how real US Navy SEALs train, featuring standard military procedures and techniques, end quote, CI Games said in its apology. Journalist Eric Switzer wrote about his experience at the Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 launch event at The Gamer. According to Switzer, a quote, Trump 2024 The Revenge Tour flag flew above the main facility, and he was informed no one at the event would wear masks. CI Games said in its apology that it abhors racism of any kind, and that as a Polish studio, it, quote, has absolutely no affiliation with any US political party or movement, end quote. As Switzer said, quote, we break up into groups and spend most of the day learning how to breach a building, systematically moving down a street while in hostile territory and handle a weapon. We're each given an M4 rifle converted to fire simunition, which has a similar impact to airsoft, and we were practicing firing them and running various military drills, end quote. The San Diego facility is part of Strategic Operations Inc., STOPS. Its website bills it as a converted movie studio that provides hyper-realistic medical and tactical training for law enforcement and the curious. Quote, since 2002, STOPS has provided training support to hundreds of thousands military, law enforcement, and first responder personnel, and still counting every day, using hyper-realistic scenario environments, the website said. Switzer wrote, quote, the Strategic Operations facility looks a lot like a set you might see in an American Sniper, Lone Survivor, or any other military propaganda film. The streets are paved with dirt, the broken down, abandoned vehicles are covered in grime, and the short, featureless huts look like they're made out of mud. It's the Middle East as we're often shown it via Western media, a gross, twisted doppelganger that doesn't actually represent life in that part of the world at all. The enemies for their drills are white guys dressed in keffiyehs and white robes. As we run drills, no one refers to the people we're learning to kill as Muslim, Middle Eastern, or Arab. Anytime the instructors refer to them, they say enemies, bad guys, or the other guys. Of course, it's impossible to ignore the fact that the bad guys are most certainly Arabs here, end quote. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 is set in the fictional Middle Eastern country of Kuamo. The enemies look like soldiers in any modern military, and the setting and story have the vaguely mill shooter look of a games company trying desperately to invoke modern conflict without pissing anyone off. Anti-Arab representation of video games has been a problem for decades now, but controversy around the forthcoming 6 Days in Fallujah has reignited it. After Switzer published his experience, CI Games released a public apology. The studio is based in Warsaw, and it said that due to COVID-19 restrictions, none of its employees could attend. Quote, we were distressed to discover that an event meant to be fun and engaging for participants has caused offence for some attendees. We had asked the events company to change the outfits of the enemies in order to match those that are represented in the game, which is specifically designed to avoid any direct cultural representations. We were informed that in order to preserve the authenticity of the training event, this request was declined, end quote. Excuse me. Quote, it felt like a normal press event, which makes the content of the event so disturbing on top of racist, I think, Switzer told Waypoint in a Twitter DM. This stuff shouldn't be normal, but it's never going to change until we stop making and playing games that glorify violence against Middle Eastern people, end quote.
It's interesting that they wanted to go with this look, because there's so many games nowadays that when they use the enemy team or the bad guys or whatever it may be, they're in pretty generic garb. Like they're just in military looking kind of ish garb, and that they, roll around with AKs or different sets of rifles or rushing, looking guns or whatever it may be. And that they don't necessarily like, hey, they're specifically Arab or they're specifically this or whatever it may be. Granted that they're not saying that, but when you put them in keffiyehs and when you put them in white robes, it's like, this is a specific look you're going for. And it's not one that, like, if you were going to generalize that those are bad guys, you would have them wearing like bad guy gear.
Like, yeah, you've gone for
Just
a specific look.
Yeah. Like, I realize it's probably one of those things where like, hey, let's make it as casual as possible, but at the same time, let's also make it like informed, even though they're not informing very well, because be saying bad guys and having them like dress up something is something that they would have probably lying around the house still isn't a good idea. Like, if you're going to put on a press event like this, you need to actually be very specific. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. You ain't cutting me off.
Well, at least we know what Trump's slogan's going to be in 2024. Sorry, Parkinson's.
No, yeah, it's fine.
Why would you put that in? Like, right. So, like, let's dig into that, right? for a second, because like, you know, if the whole thing was supposed to simulate a Middle Eastern village, which this press event was doing, why is there a Trump 2024 banner hanging up there?
It's a good question.
That's just the whole minefield in itself.
There's a minefield to walk through there, and that was probably a poor choice of metaphor, but like that's the whole thing to pick apart. Where it's just like, maybe this banner doesn't represent, you know, the part of the simulation. Maybe this banner represents something else.
Yeah, that's what screams that.
You know what? One of the worst part about it, one of the worst parts about it is, I need to get that out of my mouth. I've watched people play this game, and the enemies that they're shooting
don't look like this. I've just watched the trailer.
They're just wearing black.
They're just military,
black
generic.
And blue. And military. Game, I'm like, you could have just did this with your people instead.
Well, I don't get why they didn't. Like, it comes at the bottom of the story. You know, where the CI Games couldn't send any of their staff there because of COVID restrictions, which makes perfect sense because they're based in Poland. This happened in San Diego. They asked the events company to change the outfits of the enemy in order to match those that are represented in the game, but they were told that in order to preserve the authenticity of the training event, the request was declined. Like, what? It's like, then it's less authentic. It's more inauthentic to the press event because it's more inauthentic to the game that's being made. And I don't want to speak for the game because I don't know anything about it, other than this. But like, if you're trying to make an authentic press event to show off Sniper, Ghost, Contracts, Warriors, whatever the title of the game is, like, maybe dress the enemies like the enemies look in the game. Like, the fact that you would refuse that request to dress them in keffiyehs and white robes suggests that there's a very specific problem here at this training facility.
Yeah, the San Diego facility.
Yeah.
The Strategic Operation Inc. stops or whatever.
Stops.
Yeah. There's a serious problem there, and that needs to be seriously called out.
Yeah.
And everything like that. This isn't the developers' fault or anything like that.
No,
they literally told them. They asked it, said no, this isn't it, and they declined their request. It's a whole craziness of racism in here.
It's a good thing that they came out to apologize about it for sure, because
apology doesn't mean nothing. No offense for
I meant on the development team's half, and that's what I'm trying to get at, is that it's good on them that they actually came out. It's like, look, this wasn't us. Like, we're really sorry, and this is probably going to hurt us a lot, but at least, like, we're trying to get an apology out there, because at least we're apologizing on the behalf of the part that's inadvertent to us at the same time. You know,
I do like the part of the apology where, you know, for starts, they actually apologize. That is quite rare in video games, but like they actually apologized, and they could have legitimately just been like, hey, it wasn't us, mate. But they actually took the steps to apologize. So, like, fair play to CI Games for that, because we've seen people do horrendous shit and not even bother apologizing for it. Ubisoft. But like, they did that. Yeah. Scott Cawthorne. But we could go on for a while here. But but like, yeah, it's just like, I don't want to speak for the game, this specific game. Like, there's a problem with, like, anti-Arab representation in media in general at the moment. Like, especially violence against Arab people. And it's a huge problem. I'm glad this became a thing. Like, I'm glad this happened. Someone wrote about it. It gained traction. It became an incident, because, like, we need to talk more about this. And I don't think we do, like, as a society, as a culture in general. Because, yeah, I don't think, like, games in general should be making Arabs. And I know this game doesn't seem to be specifically doing that, but again, I don't know anything about the game. But, like, yeah, games in general do tend to make Arab people the generic bad guys that you have to shoot. And that's not cool.
Yeah. I just hope this San Diego facility hasn't damaged the developer or the game. Because for all we know, when this game comes out, it is great, but because of this thing, that it might not sell, and that'll be very disappointing, because all these people have put a lot of hard work into this game and everything. But this one thing could really, really hurt this company, and that's a shame to think that.
It really is, because they actually reach out to a lot of people to actually, like, I mean, sniper warrior, sniper ghost like whichever one, because there's like they
Well,
have like
it's a
two.
spin-off, isn't it? There's like Sniper,
Yeah,
and then there's this one.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
Sniper Elite, and then so on and so forth. Granted, I know Sniper Elite completely separate thing, but yeah, like they have two different types of games, if I'm not mistaken. And like it's good on them because like they actually really do reach out to their gamers and like the people who actually do their events and their demos and stuff like that to be like, hey, yeah, I'll take a game copy because I enjoyed your last one, like so on and so forth. They don't have like the biggest traction, but while they don't have the biggest traction, they have some, and this hurts it even more. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yep. Maybe people who are putting on press events need to really have a look at that. We've seen some really horrifically gone wrong PR stunts, press events in the games industry before. This was a bad one. And here we are. We're at Nintendo. Okay. I'm just going to wait for everybody to start moving again before I start reading the news story. Thanks, Discord. Hashtag Discord is great. Nintendo outlines its plans to make workplace more inclusive. This is from James Troughton over at The Gamer. He writes, quote, at Nintendo Company Limited Japan, we want to create a work environment that supports and empowers each and every one of our unique employees, the company stated in a new corporate social responsibility report. Within it, Nintendo outlines how it aims to make the workplace more inclusive. At Nintendo of America, various employee resource groups initiatives have been encouraged to quote, encourage mutual understanding and increase motivation among employees, end quote. One of these, Black Nintendo Dialogue, quote, works to champion inclusivity through community outreach, employee engagement, and talent acquisition, end quote. This will create new opportunities for Nintendo of America to engage with the black community. It will also be attending recruiting events such as the National Black MBA Association annual conference to increase the pipeline of diverse candidates. Another ERG is the Nintendo Women and Allies, which aims to support female employees by, quote, offering a variety of empowering opportunities that help promote women's careers, such as through presentations from women in management positions to promote leadership, end quote. On top of this, Nintendo Women and Allies has hosted a slew of virtual events, one of which was a panel called Defining Success in Changing Time, while another was an event for Girls Make Games. Nintendo has also introduced the partnership system in March 2021, which gives partners in a same-sex couple the same benefits as those in heterosexual marriages. It also stressed that its code of conduct outlines that Nintendo does not discriminate based on race, ethnicity, nationality, ideology, religion, creed, origin, social status, class, occupation, gender, age, disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Two of those things are the same thing. This newly implemented partnership system goes a step further to prohibit, quote, discriminatory comments based on sexual orientation or gender identity, end quote, while also punishing those who reveal somebody's sexual orientation without their consent. The president of the company also, quote, called for renewed understanding that even speech and actions which are not intended to harm can cause significant emotional pain, end quote. Turns out gender and gender identity are the same thing. But other than that, cool stuff.
Very cool stuff.
Very cool stuff.
I think it's simple as just to, well done, Nintendo. This is great, great outliner, a great plan. Please don't turn into Ubisoft. I don't want to hear an article further down the line. Please, for God's sakes, please.
I think it's cool. Like, especially for a Japanese company, which, like, I'm not being xenophobic or here, like, generally speaking, like, LGBTQ plus rights in Japan aren't the greatest they are in the world. So for Nintendo, a Japanese company, to come out and do all of this is it's like really cool already, but it's like really cool with a little bit extra coolness. So when I read it, I was like, oh, it's Nintendo of America. No, it's Nintendo of Japan. Good. Very good.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's nice to hear a company actually making a push forward to making big changes like this because let's be honest with you, like as much as you hear some good things, there are quite a few companies that actually mistreat and actually really really sexualize as much as to a really high fucking standard that some Japanese companies do. So it's good to hear that they're actually like, no, we're gonna make some real changes about this. It's
Oh yeah. Like
about damn time. Good.
it's always cool to hear the company say it out loud, like as opposed to not
Mhm.
say it out loud, and you just kind of have to assume. And then it turns
Mhm.
out that those companies are called Ubisoft, and they're very bad at everything related to this. But and you probably should have known that going in because they didn't say it out loud. But like, it's cool to see. It's cool to hear Nintendo say all of this and put it out there and say, look, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, all of this, and then my favorite part is the part at the end. Well, actually, it's all my favorite part, but I like the part at the end. Where they call for a renewed understanding that even speech and actions which are not intended to harm can cause significant emotional pain. Because it can. Like, oh, it's just joking, bro. Like, that's that's essentially a really boiled down opposite version of what that's saying there. So that's cool. Like, it doesn't matter if your intent was not to offend, if you still offend. Like, that's how it works. Like, strangely enough, strangely enough, cis white straight people do not get to decide what is racist, homophobic, or transphobic. Crazy, right? So this is really cool. I won't put it in here so we could all just be like, this is cool.
Cool.
After last week's incident, flipping around with a news story about a company doing good things. Speaking of a company doing good things, Dead Space 4 speculation heats up as official YouTube shows signs of life. This is from Andy Robinson over at VGC, who writes, speculation around a potential new Dead Space game increased on Thursday after it was noticed that the game's official YouTube channel was recently updated for the first time in nearly a decade. The official Dead Space YouTube channel recently changed its profile picture from the logo of 2013 installment Dead Space 3 to generic art for the series. It's the first change made on the channel since shortly after the release of that game 8 years ago, and it's significant in its timing. Last week, it was reported that Electronic Arts is set to announce a new installment in the Dead Space series developed by Motive Studios, who are responsible for Star Wars Squadrons. The new game, the horror series' first entry in a decade, will, quote, be a reimagining of the series according to Gamatsu. Should have looked that up. The recent update to Dead Space's social media channel could be seen as potential corroboration of this report, but it could also be an all-in play with the keys to the account since original creator Visceral was shut down.
I just want to shout out the article I linked in Discord.
Yeah, I didn't drop it in here. Oh my god, Discord, as soon as they open their mouths.
The reboot. It's a full-fledged remake, taking inspiration of Capcom's Resident Evil games remakes.
I'm not getting into remakes again.
This is great. I'm not going to lie. It's annoying to the part of that. You closed Visceral, guys. Come on, what the hell? Type of thing. You could have just had them making this, for God's sakes, and everything, because they were a great studio. Let's be frank here. They did do good games. I know people were mixed on that Battlefield game, Hardline, I think. But,
Hardline was okay. I mean, it was a fucking Battlefield game. It's just...
in my personal opinion, while everybody puts it as like their worst Battlefield, in my personal opinion, it's definitely not.
No,
I think it's fine.
It's not. It's a fine game. I feel like if you played it in 2021, though, considering the protagonists were militarized police officers, I feel like I don't know if it would go down quite the same as it did in 2014.
Whenever it was releasing, it was very much like, oh, are we getting like a Payday 3-ish kind of game? Oh, this is gonna be kind of cool. And then like, the more and more I played it, it was kind of one of those things that was like, you could have just probably called this Hardline. I mean, because everyone else in the Battlefield fanboy fucking section was like, this is my Battlefield. Whatever, I don't give a shit. In all honesty, like, Hardline by itself would have probably been just fine, and people would be like, "Oh, this kind of plays like Battlefield 4 a little bit." It'd be like, it's kind of cool, you know. But the fact that it got labeled as a Battlefield game, it's. But nonetheless, you know, I wonder if this is like Visceral, like, you know, like just being like, there's a possibility that there could be like some Dead Space news coming up. Let's mess with them a little bit.
Glenn Schofield just like found the password to the YouTube channel, and he was just like, you know what, it'll be really funny.
But I doubt it. It wouldn't surprise me if this was actually probably them like gearing up because like of our speculation. I mean, not specifically ours, but for the
I mean,
speculation.
like,
so.
yeah, no, I mean, the last sentence. I mean, look, Andy, I love you. I love VGC. But if you think EA hasn't changed the password for the Dead Space YouTube channel in the past 8 years,
all right, yeah,
yeah, it's cool. Like we knew, we're pretty much. I mean, I think we're pretty much 90% of the way there saying, yeah, Dead Space is going to be coming back. Specifically this way by Motive Studio, etc., etc. That's cool. I'll play more Dead Space. I like
definitely.
Dead Space. It's scary.
Dead Space is awesome. No doubt about it. Like we're 2 weeks. Let's just have a look. Yeah, we're 3 weeks away from EA Play. That's 22nd of July.
Yay.
So we'll see it soon.
Love EA Play. They're always so entertaining.
I don't know if I expect them to actually say anything about it.
Well, they're saying they are.
No,
the leaks and everything are saying they're going to.
BioWare's not going to be there, which means you got no Dragon Age, you got no Mass Effect. Skate. I doubt we'll see Skate 4 because I doubt there's anything to that game right now. So it's like they've got to have a tentpole, right? Like they've got games to show, like they've got their EA partners games to show, but they need their own tentpole, and I think that's where Dead Space is going to come in.
Isn't it time for like a new Need for Speed, I think, as well? So
I don't think Need for Speed is not really a tentpole.
I'm not saying it's temple. I'm just saying,
I mean, if we're just speculating on what's going to be there, yeah, Need for Speed could be there. Like,
I honestly don't think there's going to be much there at all. But then, literally, with this leak, they're probably now like, oh god, we might actually get people to watch this thing now.
Yeah. Or there's someone in the marketing, or there's people in the marketing department going, but Dead Space is an EA Play. Oh no, what do we do?
It is now.
Shit, somebody quick, make a logo. Oh no.
See you in 5 years, guys.
Visceral
2 years
just get shoved on
stage. Guys, we've now cancelled the game.
It's like Visceral gets shoved on stage and they're like, talk about your old games because we don't have the anything ready for the new one. It's like, you fired us.
What am I even doing here?
Yeah. Why did you drag me out of bed?
Yeah.
I was asleep.
You told me you had Lady Gaga ticket. It's fun to make fun of a AAA studio, isn't it? There's no segue to the next story from that, so I'll just go into it. Chris Avellone files lawsuit over sexual misconduct allegations. This is from Danielle Partis over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Games writer Chris Avellone has taken legal action over several accusations of sexual misconduct. The allegations were made against Avellone in June 2020, with 2 women sharing their accounts via Twitter. Shortly after the allegations arose, several developers cut ties with Avellone, notably Dying Light developer Techland. The personal injury lawsuit filed by Avellone last Saturday accuses the 2 women of libel, but also seeks damages from over 100 additional defendants, with their names yet to be ascertained. Prior to this weekend, Avellone had remained silent on the matter for roughly a year. However, in a post shared to Medium, Avellone claimed that the accusations regarding his behaviour are false and are fueled by events surrounding a breakup. Avellone went on to state that he had a consensual relationship with one of the women in 2012, while maintaining that he has never met or engaged with the other. In his Medium post, Avellone speculated that the accounts about him were shared as revenge for his breakup with a third woman that took place over 6 years ago. Neither of the named defendants have responded to the lawsuit, and efforts to contact them for comment were unsuccessful because they're in a fucking lawsuit, you idiots. In the filing, Avellone's lawyers claimed he was suffered reputational harm and lost work as a result of the accusations. Meanwhile, multiple lawyers have been publicly skeptical about the outcome of Avellone's case. Dylan Schmeer at Cusk Law shared his thoughts on the filing in a Twitter thread, calling the counts as thin as tissue paper. The thoughts were shared and echoed by trial attorney Greg Doucette. Hogue Law's Richard Hogue shared similar sentiments about the case in a video analysis of the lawsuit. He also commented on the difficulty Avellone may face in winning his case based on his prominence in the games industry. Excuse me. Quote, libel lawsuits or defamation lawsuits, particularly of anyone with any kind of name in any industry with any kind of prominence are normally difficult cases to win in the United States. Chris is one of the few individuals, I think, in video games that has a name that is recognizable. He adds, pointing to popular titles and projects Avellone has worked on, such as Fallout New Vegas and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Quote, I don't necessarily think that a lot of things that are brought up here are particularly strong libel claims, and I don't think his lawsuit properly addresses trying to get Chris out of the bucket of being a public figure, specifically a limited public figure in the gaming industry, because if he doesn't get himself out of that bucket, I think it's almost impossible to prove those statements were made with the standard that is required, end quote. Can I just, before everybody says whatever they're going to say, can I just point out that I don't know if the best defense to saying these two women who have accused me of sexual misconduct, I don't know if the best defense to that is, yeah, and also I'm going to sue these 100 other unnamed people. Like, there's potentially another 100 people out there who have stories like this. I don't know if that's the best defense, Chris. I'm not sure that's how you defend yourself from this. You fucking... No.
Bellin?
Keith's voice in the back of my head stopped me from saying what I was about to say to someone who was suing 102 people for libel. I will refrain from finishing that sentence. Somebody speak before I get us all sued.
I think you nailed it on the head with what you said there, that there's a potential 100 of additional defamations here, so that means like there's another potential 100 allegations against this man, which is kind of scary in itself, and
a lot.
Just like makes you go, "What the hell kind of a person are you, sir?" I'm being polite as well, so we don't get sued. Like the lawyers themselves are saying you are probably not going to win this at all, and you're just wasting money now.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is, because how, and I know this, I don't know much about how like the law works. I know enough to know when to shut up, but also, which Chris Avellone clearly doesn't. But I know enough to know that if he loses this case, like he's also paying all the legal fees for the defendants, the two people he was accusing of libel. So it's getting pretty expensive for him.
See, here's one thing that actually you could do that won't actually technically get you in actually any real trouble. Hey Chris, I'm allegedly saying I think you're a fucking twat. I can say that. I can literally say that, and you can't do anything to me because I allegedly think this. Yeah, I think you're a fucking piece of shit.
Still plead the fifth.
Well, you can. I mean, no, like you can call him a piece of shit without saying allegedly because that's your opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like if I said that Chris Avellone.
Even if I say allegedly, it's like I could possibly be thinking.
I might not think that, but like I might go one step further. You could go one step further and just say, in my opinion, I think Chris Avellone is a scumbag.
Yeah.
And you'd still be okay. It's only when you try to, say something factual.
Yeah,
which can be
the company or his games. Yeah.
Like the picture of the guy and he looks creepy as hell. So
in my
you look at the guy and all I think is like, wow, you look like a rat. I think you look like an actual rat.
I think him and Matt Hancock would get on very well.
Minutes, by the way.
Weasel and a rat.
Can I just want to praise the speed and efficiency of the British meme community, because within minutes the memes started flooding in. So let's move on. Unless you got sorry.
I'm gonna here. This is what I used to say back in another podcast. I'm handing you your shovel. Have a nice one.
Yeah, he's kind of fucking himself. But hey, at least he's gonna drag out a bunch of stuff into public. Hopefully, it's all about him and not about the two poor people who are now having to go through another fucking lawsuit. And people wonder why women don't speak up about this stuff. Here's an answer. Let's move on. Let's talk about Dragon Age. But it's not really about Dragon Age. It's some stuff a guy said. He used to be working on Dragon Age. I just read the Dragon Age part of the headline, and then I was like, wait, no, this isn't about Dragon Age. I'm misleading everybody. Shit. But pull up. Former Dragon Age chief Mark Darrah says, you are wrong about game piracy. This is from Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer. He writes, Mark Darrah spent nearly a quarter century at BioWare in a career that saw him rise from a programmer on Baldur's Gate to the executive producer of the Dragon Age series. He left the studio at the end of 2020, shortly after which he launched his own YouTube channel, where he shares videos on everything ranging from all the game swag to console certification processes and business models. In his latest video, Darrah takes on the timeless topic of video game piracy. Instead of arguing for or against a particular perspective, though, he suggests that we've all got it wrong to some extent. Publishers who claim massive losses to justify their DRM efforts assume that every pirated copy of a game has lost full price sale. But that's just not so. Darrah argues, comparing it to police reports of the street value of drugs seized in raids, he says the calculations used to determine lost sales figures, quote, exaggerates and expands the number well beyond what is realistic, end quote. But pirates who claim their activities have no real impact on the business, quote, are equally coming from a completely ludicrous place, end quote. Darrah continues. Games cost money to make, and while not all pirated copies of games represent lost sales, some definitely do. And while some pirates like to claim they're doing it to boycott a particular game, what publishers see in high rates of piracy isn't a protest, but sales that could have been made if only it had been able to prevent the piracy, presumably through the imposition of more effective DRM measures. Quote, if you're sitting there right now saying, well, it's okay that I pirated this game because I never would have bought it, then why don't you ask yourself this question? If you never would have purchased this game, why was it so important for you to pirate it? Why did you need to play it at all? End quote. The situation is trickier in countries where games aren't available. Imports can be impractical, particularly for PC games which often don't get a physical release. Piracy might appear to be the only option in such cases, but Darrah warned that it can be a double-edged sword in the long run. Potentially large markets like Russia are often overlooked by publishers because piracy is so rampant, which only helps make the piracy problem worse, further driving publishers away. The only time Darrah considers a piracy a legitimate option is when a game simply is not available anymore anywhere. Quote, it's hard for me to argue against that. You're not really taking money out of someone's hand because they were choosing no longer to even sell it to you, end quote. Darrah concludes, not surprisingly, that the issue of piracy and its impact on the industry is not black and white, but various shades of grey. Quote, I know you have a justification as to why your particular piracy is okay. I'm asking you to stop for a moment, double check that's not just an excuse, and that your real reason for piracy isn't something else, end quote. Spot on there, like. Personally.
Don't pirate things. Just don't do it. I do not condone it whatsoever. And the guy what he's saying is spot on.
Again, like
is anything, it can hurt people. It can hurt the company. It can hurt a developer. You may want to boycott this thing, then just boycott it. You don't mean you have to play it or whatsoever. Don't be one of those people. It's disgusting. I can appreciate a company has pissed you off or something like that, but no, I don't. Just don't do it for me.
There is an interesting psychological point to consider in that part, the boycott part, that I was going to bring up. So I guess I'll do it now because you mentioned it, where it's just like the question of like, where he says, ask yourself, if you were boycotting or you were never going to buy the game, then why is it so, like he says, why is it important to pirate it? Why do you need to play it at all?
Facts.
Like, so like, obviously, like, you know, don't pirate games. It's not cool. Like, but also, like, I think games publishers, like AAA publishers, kind of make a rod for their own back a little bit in that regard because of FOMO, right? Like, the FOMO drives this industry. Like, you want to play a game as soon as it comes out, otherwise you're not going to be a part of the conversation, and you're going to miss out on the conversation, and then everybody's going to have moved on because that's the way that the industry has been set up. So I think it's an interesting psychological question where it's just like, I wonder if the answer to a lot of that is like, I was never going to buy the game, but I'll pirate it so I can play it. And I wonder if like part of the answer to that question of why is FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, I don't want to miss out on the game. Like, because as much as I only started like not playing Ubisoft games last year, like Moody, you can attest to this because we've talked shop for fucking years. How many Ubisoft games did I play where I was just like, this is a bit shit, I don't like this. And if you ask me, or if I ask myself and I seriously consider the question, well, why'd you keep playing it? I would have come down to because everybody else is playing it.
Yeah, and you did. You did. That's facts.
Like, and eventually I reached that conclusion myself. But, like, yeah, well, I find that psychologically fascinating.
As someone who has played older games, I definitely don't condone it for like the most part. If it's feasible, like you should. And to be honest with you, if you're going to support it, support it. If you're not going to support it, then don't support it and then fuck them. You made the conscious principled choice to say, I don't want to play your game for X, Y, and Z, whether money wise, principle, like whatever it may be. It's called no compromising. And not just in a sense of like, I don't want to compromise with the publisher. It's in a sense no compromising for yourself, because if you turn around and pirate it, you have literally destroyed your whole principle, your whole moral system, your whole everything of the whole point of like why you decided not to play that game in the first place. What you should probably do is, if you really don't have an interest, or if you have somewhat of an interest and you actually like, I don't know how I can actually get a little bit of like the game while also not paying the money for it, and seeing if I like it first. If that's one of the factors, that's the reason why we have Twitch and YouTube and Facebook gaming.
We do a whole podcast about reviewing games. If you want to know about a game, you just come and watch one of us. And it's not unique podcast. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's not unique.
There's a reason why we're out here. It literally is. I mean, sure, like, I realize that we're the avenues that, like, hey, y'all got money, so try it for me. I mean, yeah, sure. If you really want to get down to it bare bones, some of us definitely do that. Like, there's too many YouTube people out there who definitely just get paid to play the new game and give their opinion. And you probably will more often than not lean on their opinion. But that's the point of, or one of, I should say, that's one of the very big points of why we do it. It's just like, yeah, we want you to be able to understand how we also feel, but also understand objectively, subjectively of what it is that we're also talking about, while also not doing the thing like pirating.
Yeah, you're right. The I like his point about literally finding it hard, I mean, I like all of the points. I like the point where it's just like there's this vicious cycle that can happen where it's like, if you don't release a game in a territory, they're going to pirate it. But if the people pirate it, then they're not going to release their next game in that territory. But how else would they get the game? Because you can't, and it just goes round and round, and you get dizzy trying to follow the logic. And also, it's like, we talked about this when we did the episode about PlayStation and old games, where it's just like, if you're not going to sell me the game, I'm going to have to try and get it like from somewhere if I won't play it.
No,
Alleged.
I don't agree with that.
I
personally.
don't care.
I know. I'm just saying to myself. I personally don't agree with that.
If I want to play Resident Evil 3 and make a video about it, I'm going to have to try and get that game any way I can. Oh, wait, I already did that. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But see, what happened is, like, and again, like, I like to make this point every time something like this happens between me and Moody. Moody, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Amazingly, two people can disagree about something and then just be like, cool, now let's talk about Halo. We want players having fun in Halo, not grind like it's a job. This is from Wesley and Poole over at Eurogamer. It sounds like Eurogamer itself is saying that, but that's actually a quote. The entire headline was a quote. 343 has gone into detail on Halo Infinite Seasons, insisting they should be manageable from a player perspective. In a post on Halo Waypoint Live, team design director Ryan Paradis and lead progression designer Christopher Blum discussed 343's Seasons and Battle Pass philosophy. Infinite seasons will each last 3 months, which according to Paradise, quote, gives players a good amount of time to experience and explore the seasonal content without it getting tiresome and without constantly pulling the rug from under players, end quote. Actually, no, the quote continues. We want to ensure that there's always a fresh and fun reason to be playing Halo Infinite, but that the things they know and love will be around for more than a heartbeat, end quote. Echoing this, Blum added, quote, we want players to have cool content, activities, events, and rewards over the course of the season, but we do not want to demand that players play a ton of hours every week of the season to complete everything. We want players having fun in Halo, not grind like it's a job, end quote. Infinite's battle passes are permanent. This means the Season 1 Battle Pass will be around forever, so you can always go back, select it as your active Battle Pass, and continue to earn progress within it. So, if you take a season off, or you just didn't have time to play, you can always go back and buy any prior Battle Pass. Infinite's Battle Passes always include various free rewards in addition to the premium track, 343 stressed. Quote, first and foremost, we're working hard to ensure that the Battle Pass isn't a grind for players, Paradis said. We want it to be a supplemental reward stream for the time you are already putting into the game. I, for one, can't stand it when I'm playing a game just to complete the Battle Pass. It feels like a chore to me. We looked at other titles where you buy something that provides time-limited access to the pass, and now you feel obligated to play. That's not fun, and it's not player first. If you put the trust in us and purchase something from us, it's yours. No strings attached. End quote.
Sounds good.
Sorry.
Sounds good. You can't ask for much more than that. Really, you can't. That sounds sexy as hell, that. This one article, this one, guys, this would just make me go, I want to play Halo now. Give me it now, please. Right? Now. I want to play this now. Give me it. That's all it is. That's all it's took and everything like that.
Fucking baller move. I love it so much. As someone who was on the grind in Apex Legends for a bit last year, and like, yeah, you do feel obligated to play because it's like, well, I want my stuff. And like to know that I don't have to reach some like completely fabricated, made up endpoint just because, where it's like, okay, I've got this long to play this much. Shit, you froze. Whereas so it's like, I don't like playing a multiplayer game where it's just like you got this long to play this much of the game to get this much stuff. Where it's just like, nah, all your battle passes exist in Halo Infinite, and you just select your active one. So, like, if you want to be like, okay, I want to get this cool armor or whatever else is going to be available in a Halo Infinite Battle Pass, it's like, cool, I'll just work towards that as I'm playing the game. No time limit. Doesn't matter how much you play the game.
Well, for the longest time when, like, we were playing Apex, I didn't feel the grind for that until we started, like, actually going, oh, wait, I'm this close to do it. Then when I paid attention to it, because I was just chilling. I was playing. I was enjoying myself and everything like that. But yeah, the grind did get there, and I think that's obviously one of the reasons why I think all of us fell off and everything. It was other reasons, obviously, games. Other games to play.
Other games came out.
Yeah, Halo,
Furlough ended.
343, if you guys can do this could be a nice little treat to go back to all from time to time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can just go back to it, and it's fine. And it's fine to do it. It's fine to leave and then come back. And guess what? Not only is the shit that you still you were working towards, you can still do, but like if another battle pass has come out in the meantime, that's still going to be there too. And then it's just like you don't have to suddenly think, shit, it's halfway through the season, I have to catch up on this battle pass because I want the stuff out of it. You don't have to do that anymore. You just play Halo for fun. Moody, you can play games for fun now.
Wait, what?
You can play games for fun.
Wait, I didn't realize that's what we could do.
You could do that. It's great. My God. It's revolutionary, I know. But
it's truly revolutionary. My goodness. Wow. This is like a new feeling I haven't felt for a long time.
It's called enjoyment.
Play something for fun.
No.
Wow. It's like my eyes have opened at long last. It's like I was blind and now I'm no longer blind. It's crazy. I've seen the light. What are you going to say, Foster?
It's clearly
and the light is Halo.
The rain is gone.
That light
See
is
a Halo in the distance.
I love you guys. This is the best. I love doing this podcast. Yeah, let's do this one briefly. Since I made a 90-minute retrospective on the original game, I should probably read this news story. Remedy's Project Condor is a multiplayer spin-off of Control. This is from Cameron Faulkner over at The Verge. He writes, developer Remedy Entertainment announced that it's making a new game codenamed Condor, a multiplayer spin-off of Control. No release date, price, or story beats have been shared for Project Condor, but all we know so far is that Remedy's press release says it will be a 4-player cooperative PvE game. It'll be built with Northlight, the same engine used for Control, and it will release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series consoles. The game will be published by 505 Games. They said stuff, I'm not really that bothered. Remedy and 505 Games shared that they are also collaborating on a bigger budget Control title coming in the future. According to the press release, the companies have outlined high-level collaboration terms, so it could be a while before we see the next installment in action. That's fine, because Alan Wake's gonna come out first. It's a great time to be a Remedy Games fan. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, after years of being in the wilderness, lost, afraid.
We had Max Payne 3. Wait, 3
That was
done by
Rockstar.
Remedy, right?
No,
Oh wait, that's right. Yeah,
That was a
yeah,
Rockstar.
Yeah.
we had Quantum Break.
Oh yeah. What was it? One was done by Remedy, right? And then
One and
was
two.
done-
Max Payne 1 and 2
Yeah.
were done by Remedy.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they did Alan Wake.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we had Alan Wake and we had Quantum Break. To be fair, I didn't get really deep into Quantum Break. It was okay.
It was an interesting concept.
Yeah,
Perhaps it was not executed on as well as it could have been.
Well, maybe it shouldn't have dropped with Red Redemption 1.
That was Alan Wake.
That's what I said.
Oh, we were talking about Quantum
Yeah.
Break.
Yeah, we
my
were talking about
apologies.
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break's-
I didn't mind it. Like I liked its format. It does break it up a little bit too much for me personally, but for the most part, I enjoyed its format, and I like the way that that they decided, hey, we're also going to take some of these ideas and then apply it to Control. And to be honest with you, made Control like actually like a really really good game. And
Some might say one of the best games ever. Third some being me. Ah.
in all honesty, hearing about a PvE co-op Remedy game,
Set in the Control universe. I love that universe. I love the gameplay. I loved everything about Control.
it's got great design. It's got great story. It's got great mechanics. It uses actual physics engines.
Has
Most games only do it to like certain things because a lot of other things are usually static, and then once something, and then even if they do decide to use it, sometimes it's only for like a limited time. Like it's like, oh, this can literally fall from this point to this point, but then nothing happens after it. It's just like, all right, well, I mean, at least there was a physics engine in there. They decided, hey, we want you to be able to physically do anything with anything. It's like,
shoot
that's
that
amazing.
table. See what happens.
I love you.
It'll blow your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, right. Like literally blow that, like yank that transformer towards those enemies. It's gonna watch what happens. This is like, oh, thank you. Let me
Oh
do
my
what I
God.
just want to do.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Just, it's interesting what like some people or some developers will just like show you, hey, like we realize that game development's hard, but if you let us actually polish the fuck out of something and actually make it work like the way we want to and give you a well-designed stable game on top of it, we're gonna show you how to have a good time. And and Control is a great staple of that. It's just showing you how you can just do what you want and have such a great time.
You can just make good games.
Yeah.
So it's cool. So we've got Control. We've got Condor. It's codenamed Condor, the multiplayer game. We've got a bigger budget Control sequel. We've got two Remedy Epic two feature Remedy games published by Epic Games, which are both going to be set in the same universe. One is bigger and one is smaller. It's Alan Wake. It's another Alan Wake game, guys. You play the DLC for Control. It's nothing else it can be. This is all very exciting. I'm so excited. There's a state of play soon too. That's where Control was revealed originally by PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was.
I'm so
I forgot about that.
God.
Oh, we hope there's a state of play.
Yeah, there will be. They only announced them on the week that they do them. They're like Nintendo and that. Last but not least, 15 million copies of Among Us were claimed free on Epic Games.
Damn.
Nice.
Damn. Good on
That is
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is truly awesome. There's no doubt about it. Like, this is one of our games that we constantly play all the time, especially on Saturdays over at twitch.tv/words about games, where either me or Amy play and stab each other to death or crazy.
Or everyone else.
Or anyone else, yeah. But mostly it's just me and Amy stabbing each other. Just for the heck
We
of
have a
it.
habit of
But, yeah. Messing with each other.
going for each other, yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I'm so happy about this. It's just it's an incredibly fun, awesome game, and it deserves all the love. And I'm really happy for the developers.
Hell yeah,
Congratulations.
developers are cool.
Developers are cool.
I hope that they end up still doing what they want to do and don't get too burnt out.
No, they're good now. Yeah, they're good. They were
Okay.
burning out quite badly.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, didn't we?
Talked about it last week, but they're in a more stable place now. I mean, when your game suddenly becomes the most popular thing in the world, and there's 3 of you, like, I mean, you suddenly can just go, oh, shit.
Yeah, true.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. What just happened? But yeah, no, it's cool. I like it. 15 more million people at stab.
That's how I saw it. That's how I read it.
Let's see games out next week.
Yes, games out next week, ladies and gentlemen. Games out this week. 3 and only 3. Very quiet right now.
Just wait.
But thankfully, that allows us to play lots of games that we've got piled up in our backlogs.
Got a backlog.
Like I have. I've got a lot of backlog.
I've got a big backlog.
Yeah, I gotta catch up on a couple of things. But first, 2 games coming on July 8th. Sniper Elite VR, Quest Rift PSVR, Steam VR. Grab your rifle, gaze down the scope, and take aim in this stealth action World War II first-person shooter built exclusively for VR. With the explosive campaign, astonishing immersion, authentic weaponry, and a signature gunplay from the award-winning Sniper Elite series. Boomerang X, PC, and the Switch. Screw the rest of them. Harness the power of the mystical boomerang to fling yourself through the air, slice, fly, and blast through areas swarming with evil creatures. Stay agile and meet your doom. And the one and final game on July 9th, Monster Hunter Stories 2, The Wings of Ruin. PC and Switch, again. Screw the rest. A new adventure awaits you in this second installment of the 2 turn-based RPG series set in the world of Monster Hunter. Become a rider and form bonds with friendly monsters known as Monsters to Fly.
It's supposed to say Monsties, but for some reason autocorrect's actually auto-corrected it. That said Monsties when I put it in there.
With friendly monsters known as
Monsties. They're called Monsties.
Monsties. Okay, to fight alongside them as you take part in an epic story. That completely threw me off.
Someone's auto-corrected it. Like, that's weird. It's Monsties.
Weird, but okay.
Because it's like the cute version of Monster Hunter with a story.
I have a question. What are our thoughts on Monster Hunter here? Like, we are a fan of it and everything like that. Are we going to give this a go, or are we just
Monster Hunter Stories? It's not on my list, but
yeah. No,
if you want to go for it.
I'm not sure.
If it interests you, go take a whack at it.
It seems like it could be some fun, but I think I'm just gonna watch it. I'm not really gonna dig into it too much because it'd be one of those things that like I'm gonna feel a little bit left out that I didn't play the first one, not know what the hell's going on from this one. Although it could just be nothing at all, but still.
Yeah, like unless like a release date drops for like an indie game, like I'm really looking forward to. Like my plan for like the next sort of two weeks up until the F1 game comes out that me and you are apparently gonna multiplayer together, Moody. Like I'm gonna try and work my way through like the significant backlog of 2021 games that that I have a bit, because there's a lot of games that I actually really would like to try and play that I missed throughout the year.
Funny enough, actually, there isn't too many games from this year that's come out so far that I've actually been like, yeah, I'm gonna put this in my backlog because I really, really, really want to play it. Most of them I own and or at least have tried to a point where I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know, it's actually been surprising this year. I don't have too much from this year, mostly from 2020 and 2019.
Fair enough. Can't say anything. Like, I'm currently in the process of making, like, I guess technically 5 retrospective videos about 5 different games. So, you know, like ranging from 2007 to 2016. So, you know, Mass Effect's the oldest. And I think Dishonored 2 is the newest.
And yeah, you're at 2016 because if you're considering Dark Souls
And Dark Souls 3
yeah,
was 2016.
yeah, it'd be 2016. Yeah.
Which is also, I mean, I've kind of accidentally fallen ass backwards into making a video about that. So, you know. But to be fair, that's how the Bloodborne video came about. Wasn't planning on it. Just ended up playing it.
I kind of love that. I kind of love that you tried one to a point you're
Hate
like, yeah, like yeah, to a point you're like, so Fox has said 3 plays a lot better, and and then you play it, you're like, all right, so fuck 1.
Like, the first
I love
chapter
that.
of this retrospective is going to be a test. Because it's going to be like, the first chapter is going to be like, I hate Dark Souls 1. And then the second chapter is going to be, but I love Dark Souls 3. Why?
I think I'm gonna go back and play 2 at some point. I played it way back when, and I didn't have the greatest of times, but I think I'm gonna go force myself to go try play 2 again at some point.
Anyway,
Although it's
I like to
yeah.
curb the Dark Souls talk when Moody's around for Moody's benefit.
That's
Let's
fair.
play
That's
OpenCritic
fair.
head to head. This is the game we play every single. Just wait until the Elden Ring review podcast. This is the game we play every single week.
Around for that one.
To be
Fox
fair,
will take over.
I give you a holiday. I'll just get Foxes and Joe, and 3 of us will do it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll probably take that.
But then you'll probably have to talk about Pokemon at some point because that comes out at the same time. This is OpenCritic head to
I'll
head.
wait until the week after, 2 weeks later after Elden. I'll give literally Elden Ring 1 episode for itself, and I'll take that one off. That's no problem for me.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. This is the game we play every single week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever guesses closest gets 1 point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny. We were lucky we did it when we did because the reviews dropped the very next morning before the podcast had even come out. I guessed it would get an 82. Moody guessed it would get an 84. Foxes guessed it would get an 86 at the time of recording. Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny has an OpenCritic average of 74, which puts the current scores at... I'm going to do this in a slightly different order. In last place, we have Foxes with 5. In second place, we have Amy with 9. And in joint first place, we have Moody and Keith with 10 each. There have been 2 draws so far in 2021. This week, we're guessing the OpenCritic average of Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin. And Foxes has ran away. He's gone. He's liked it. He's like, nah, fuck this game. I've had enough. I'm out of here. Moody, what do you think? I mean, I know what you think 'cause you typed it in.
81. 81.
Bless you. I don't know if you can hear us. Bless
Oh,
you.
can now.
Thank you.
Bless you.
What do you think Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin is going to get on OpenCritic by this time next week?
Are we allowed to know the previous ones?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, go for it. I mean, I can't stop using Google. So.
Wings of thingy on OpenCritic has a 79.
79.
Monster Hunter Stories.
I swung a little high last time, only because like
I mean,
off
fair.
of its reputation, you know, to be
Fair.
honest with you.
Yeah.
I won't lie, we all did. That's
This is the thing.
here.
You can make informed guesses on OpenCritic head to head, but every now and again it'll surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Warcraft 3? Moody? Remember Warcraft 3 Reforged?
Oh god.
Oh no.
Who got that
man.
one, by the way?
Me,
Was it you
because
or
I think you guessed it would get a 91 or something, and I guessed it would get an 89. It got like 59, so it was just like, okay, well, I guess by default, I was closest.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wings of Ruin 79. You know what? 78. Just gonna shoot for one lower than it did last time.
Well, I am going to go with 85.
Oh, you're swinging high.
Yeah. Sequels can sometimes improve on the originals.
They really do, yeah.
So I'm sort of in the mindset of I think this is going to be a big improvement over the first one.
I was tempted.
And we'll see what
thinking that
happens.
was-
We shall.
What was yours, Moody?
He said 81.
Okay.
He wrote his in the podcast. Hold on, I've got an edit log. 2 hours ago, pretty much when we started. In fact, before we started, probably while we were talking about Dark Souls for 20 minutes before we hit record.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna laugh my ass off if it's 79 or like 80. In all honesty, like I'm just gonna be like, really.
Well, with one of those, you'll still get a point. That's going to do
Yeah,
it
true.
for episode 262 of the Words Back Games podcast. Thank you very much for watching or listening. If you have done either of those things, does anyone have anything they'd like to close the podcast out with?
Be excellent to one another, everybody.
I like that. I like that sentiment. Bill and Ted in it.
Yep, it is.
They had it right.
Yep.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.